Hi there, this is just a little video to show you the decoration I'm doing for my wedding cake for tomorrow. And I'll crop the video together and make it nice and short so that you're not watching for ages, but just so you can see how I'm decorating the sides of this cake. I've done a tester board, which I don't know if you can see, maybe not too bad. I've got a couple of stencils in there with royal icing, and I have got some painting in the background with just super white and rejuvenator fluid, a few pearls and a couple of handmade sequins, and that's what's going on the side of the cake. I tried cake lace and I tried royal icing piping round about some of the stencils, but I don't think I like it, so I think I might leave that out, but we'll see. So anyway, let's get on. So what I'm doing first is a bit of painting. I've got some super white powder and I have diluted that down with rejuvenator fluid, and I'm just going to get a bit on the side of the cake. And I'm just using single brush strokes randomly here and there. So next I'm doing a bit of stenciling. So this is the Ramona lace stencil, which is a lovely one from Evil Cake Genius. I've wrapped it around the cake and I've secured it at the back with some baking paper. I've sellotaped that on. And then what I'll do, you'll see there's some bits popping out. The royal icing would go behind, so the trick is to use some tulle to keep everything in nice contact with the cake. So I'll put some of that on. So I've got some royal icing that I've mixed with a bit of super white to make it a bit brighter. It's quite a reasonably thick consistency, so that won't run under the stencil. And I'm not going for a full stenciled look, I just want it randomly placed here and there. So I'm just going to put a little bit on in different places. So I'll scrape on with my palette knife and then scrape off again. Gently and firmly scrape it off. Go this way, I think. Go for it again. Turn the stencil round, go put it in a different place. So I've covered my royal icing so it won't dry out, and I'll take off the stencil. so the tulle comes off and round. Here we are. I like that, nice and random. So what I'll do now is do the other side and then the top of the cake, and I'll just wait a while till it dries in between. So here we have the Ramona lace stencil finished. It's been on the cake 4 times, twice to wrap around the bottom and twice to wrap around the top. And I've kind of kept the stenciling roughly in the areas where the painting is underneath. I have got a few little bits of royal icing where I don't want them to be, so I'm just going to take those off. It comes off really easy when it's fresh. And if it leaves a little dot behind it, which it hardly does, you have to look really closely to see. I'm not that bothered anyway, because it's just going to be a nice random look here and nothing too pristine. So now I'll go in with stencil number 2, which is a lovely cherry blossom stencil. And this one's from Lindy's Cakes. I've had it for ages. I really like it. So again, just randomly and in between where I've stenciled already, but keeping everything grouped together along the white painted lines, so there's still some white space left in the background too. And I'm not going to attach this stencil to the cake because it's too small, so I'm just going to hold it in place. Right, line up my scraper so it's comfy. And carefully I'll hold on to one side and release it from the other. And I'm just neatening up 1 or 2 bits, because when you stencil on top of a stencil, if it's an acrylic stencil, you get thick edges, which there's nothing you can do about really. You can smooth them down. So now it's time to put some pearls on, and all I've done is I've got some sugar pearls from Cake Stuff and put some in a little tub and mixed them with just a tiny bit of pearl lustre. So this is Roxy Enriched Satin White. It's one of my favourites, so just a little bit of that in my little dish. And I've just swirled them round, and that's it. So they're lovely and shiny and pearly instead of quite a flat white, which is what these are. And my trick for getting these on the cake where I want them to go is use the back end of my paintbrush to just push a little indent in where I would like them to go. And I've got my tweezers to lift the petals. I tend to like putting them in rows, vertical rows, so we'll do a few of those. Use one of my spacers so that I'm getting everything vertical. And I'll just put a bit of sugar glue in. So my trick with the petals, so they don't all roll away down the table, and so that I am not getting any tweezer marks in my icing, is to use my finger as a little shelf and just let the petal roll in. And once it's in, kind of give it a prod with the tweezers. So that's all the petals on. And the last thing I'm going to do before I put the cake on the cake board is put some sequins on. Now I made these by just cutting out some modelling paste rolled really thin, and I cut it out using a wide nozzle, which is a number 17 PME, and cut the middle using a number 2 Wilton, and then I just rolled the little circles using my ball tool on my flower pad to give them a nice curved shape. I don't suggest covering a cake in these, there's easier ways to do it, but they're so pretty and sparkly and pearly, and I've just done the same thing as I did to the sprinkles. I don't know if you can even see that there. I put them in a little dish with a wee bit of satin white Roxy Rich lustre dust, and just swish them around so that they're nice and pearly and shiny. Now you can make cake lace sequins, but they're not quite as sparkly, and they're quite big actually, and the sequins that you can buy that's edible isn't really very shiny. So if it's small numbers, these are quite nice, but if it's big numbers, life's too short. I'm using the end of my paintbrush to push the sequins in to stick it to the glue, but without distorting the circular shape. Oops. So that's us all finished. The cake's on the cake board now, and all that's left to do is put a ribbon around. It doesn't really need a ribbon actually, the bottom's fine, and I don't really like lots of ribbons. But with the royal icing being underneath that sticks the cake to the cake board, there's always just that tiny little gap, and I don't like those tiny little gaps. I like to get rid of them. So this is just a 3mm ivory ribbon. I'll just put that around the bottom and I'll stick it at the back with a bit of royal icing, and then that's us. And I'll put the flowers on the top later tonight, and that'll be it. So thank you very much for watching. If you have watched, please give me some feedback. Feedback would be very welcome. Has it been useful or not useful? Have you enjoyed it or not? Is it relevant or not? It would be nice to know what sort of things to do moving forward, and we'll take it from there. But thank you again for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye just now.